of Starry Scoop Live. My name is Kaitlynn, and before we begin today's program, I'd first like to give thanks to Westfield Community Programming, Westfield Technical Academy, Peter Coles, Brady LePage, and of course, my special guest today, Andy Liu. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. You might recognize Andy from past episodes. He is a member of the Westfield High School quiz team, and we had a little space trivia a few months ago now. It's been a while. But he's also a leading member of the Westfield High School Space and Astronomy Club. He's vice president. So he's really big into space and astronomy and just stargazing in general. So to start things off, Andy, how did your interest in space and astronomy begin?
So I think the first time I heard about it was through my intermediate school teacher, Mr. Blesses. He was my math teacher at the time, and I think you started up the club, right?
I did.
And he was the advisor, and he said it was something he thought I'd like, and he was trying to get me to join it. But I never really got involved until 8th grade when I met you in Spanish class, and I think you were inviting me to go to your kickoff observing event, and it would have been outside in front of the middle school. So just on a whim, I took a chance on it. I decided to go there, and I haven't really looked back since.
Yeah, I remember that intermediate school club that we started. And for everyone who doesn't go to school in Westfield, we have two middle schools. One's 5th and 6th grade, so it's kind of like an elementary school. And then we have the regular middle school, which is just 7th and 8th. And of course, the high school, 9th through 12th. But during the intermediate school, it was just before COVID, we had a STEM week. Didn't drop out, but we skipped our normal classes, and we just focused on one aspect of STEM. And that week, it just happened to be space. And I had the idea of going and talking to my science teacher, saying, hey, I have telescopes at home. I know about the stars. There's planets out at night. Why don't we go out on a Wednesday night, out in the field at school with very minimal light pollution, and just look up? And it was a great success, and from there, Mr. Blesses helped us start the club. And then, of course, COVID hit. And you'll remember in the middle school, we started up another club. We were in 8th grade, and we were sitting down in Spanish, and we're like, we have to start a kickoff observing event.
We have to do something.
And I still remember that we had our telescope set out. I had a Dobsonian telescope, 8-inch, easy to use, and we were looking at the moon that night. The crescent moon, of course, so it's not like a full blown out full moon. You can really see the details in the craters along the terminator or day-night line of the moon. And I still remember we printed out star maps of the night sky. We had people hold them up above their head and align the compass points, and we pointed out constellations as well. And from then, we started our high school club. So how's your experience with the high school club been?
It's been amazing. I mean, so we meet once every month. I believe it's, first Thursday?
Yeah, whenever we decide.
Whenever we decided to do that. And it's just amazing being able to talk about the space. I mean, we have people give a presentation at each meeting, and one of my favorite presentations that I gave was on the history of telescopes. And it's just so awesome being able to learn about that, and of course all the events we have.
Yeah, do you have a favorite event that we've thrown?
Ooh, okay, wait, it's hard to pick one. One event that I love talking about is our solar eclipse. So I believe it was a year ago. We weren't in the path of totality for the eclipse, but it was still mostly there. So we had this huge event. It was outside the school. It was open to the public, and there were just so many people. All these kids just strewn across the lawn, and of course club members. We were handing out the special glasses just so everyone can look up, and we also had the sea star going for a live image of it, and it was just amazing. It was just like a huge event. The news even showed up. I remember giving an interview. I was really nervous during that, but yeah, was just one of my favorite events.
Yeah, and Andy used the Sea Star Smart Telescope that the club uses a lot, and it has the ability to track the sun. And I think you captured a time-lapse video of the sun going through the phases of the eclipse. And that day, you were in the path of totality, but I think it was 97% covered. And so I think throughout the event, you could really feel how it was getting darker outside. Not completely dark, but dimmer. And I was in the path of totality up in Vermont, and when totality hit, the birds were just going wild. The mosquitoes came out. So it was a great event, not only in the path of totality, but even just outside of it at Westfield High in the fields. Now, my favorite event has to be one that we held earlier this year in the fall. It was an event that we held, again, at the high school, out in the fields at night. And we invited a local Girl Scout troop to it. And the entry fee was one canned food item for a can drive. And I think we raised a lot, big barrel full. And we had the Girl Scouts out. And unfortunately, the clouds did kind of blink the skies the first 30 minutes of the event. But we didn't let that stop us from having our fun.
Didn't.
One thing that I really love about astronomy is we all have fun with it, no matter if the clouds are out or not. So I took the Girl Scouts out on a solar system walk through the fields, just on prompt to. And a solar system walk is a scaled down model of the solar system that's walkable. So 10 feet forward is the planet Mercury, and it would be the size of a pinhead. And then another 15 feet forward would be the planet Venus. And so we walked throughout the field. We led the entire Girl Scout troop. And we talked about each planet and described it and different fun facts. And I think we had a lot of fun. And just as we got back, the clouds parted.
Right
and
on time.
We looked at the planets. The moon was out. And I believe that was around the time of Comet Atlas.
Yes.
So that was
there's
that
that
was
great
just a
photo we-
lot of fun. Yeah, we do have a great photo. It's one of my favorites of I think this was 2 weeks before the Girl Scout event of just the club. And there's a photo of us with a telescope and then the club all lined up. And in the background is Comet Atlas across the sky. And believe it or not, it was taken with an iPhone, an extended capture, but it's a great photo and one of my favorites. But that Girl Scout event is up there on the list too. Can drive to get in, took a solar system walk, we looked at the moon and the planets, and we also had a green laser pointer, and we gave tours of the night sky. And I was able to point out the difference between the stars and the planets, and tour the different constellations, and even point out the Big Dipper that they were talking about throughout the entire night, their favorite constellation. But is it a constellation?
Is it?
Asterism. That was a fun fact that we told them.
Oh, another activity we did as a club that I really wanted to talk about was the telescope cleaning. So this is one of the things we did at the middle school, and we actually got donated a telescope from, I believe it was Robert Gravel, and it was a Dobsonian, right?
Yes.
And what we did was, it was really old, so we took it apart, and it was so nerve-wracking, but we took the mirror out, and what we did was we ran it underwater, and so carefully we were just scrubbing like all the grime and dust off of it. It was one of the most stressful things I've ever done.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was at the beginning of the middle school club that we had. And a fellow student of ours, his grandfather used to be a member of the Springfield Stars Club based out of Springfield, Mass. And their grandfather handmade a telescope and ground his own mirror. It's a 10-inch Dob, beautifully handcrafted. And it was sitting in his garage for some time. And our friend heard about the club, and his mother decided to donate us the 10-inch telescope. And along with that came, I think, a 6-inch as well.
Yes.
And we got them, and we had to restore them. So we looked up, I believe, Astronomy Magazine's guide on how to clean telescopes, or maybe Sky and Telescope. I have it linked on my Facebook page somewhere. But yeah, it was nerve-wracking. First time I've ever done it, my father, any of us, we had to remove the primary mirror, and we placed it in a sink. We let water constantly rush off of it, Dawn dish soap, and cotton balls, so they wouldn't scratch the surface. And if we couldn't get something off with a little bit of scrubbing, we just kind of left it because we were too scared. But we still use that telescope to this day. And it's currently based in the middle school. And there's a current club still going in the middle school. We collaborate with them all the time at the high school. And they'll bring out the gravel scope, as we call it, to many of the observing events. Another great thing that we have in Westfield is we have library telescopes in both the intermediate and middle school. These library telescopes are little tabletop Dobsonian telescopes that you could set on a picnic table, and they're easy to use. There's a guide, it comes with a guide, a map of the sky, and you set it up with your family and you can just look up. And we purchased these through fundraising of our own and with the help of Westfield Gas and Electric. And we purchased 2 of them, one for the intermediate school, one for the middle school. And they're library telescopes. So they're based in the school's libraries. And the students can check them out just like a library book. So over a weekend, over a school break, even over the summer. And they can take it home, and it's easy to use. There's guides, their parents can help them, and I think that's a really great thing that the clubs has also done. So the gravel telescope is a bit difficult to manage if you don't really know what you're doing, just because it's so big. But the little tabletop Dobbs, they're easy to manage. I mean, I could pick it up with one hand.
Yeah.
So it's great for little kids, and I think that's something great that we've done over the years.
Yeah, no, as a kid, I don't know if you remember, but the Athenaeum, they used to have this huge kid section, and they had other things that you could check out besides books. They had like these board games, these puppets, and I would love taking those out. If I had these library telescopes as a child, I would be unstoppable.
Yeah. One thing that we love doing as a club is kind of sharing our love of the night sky with others, whether that's fellow school students, younger kids in the intermediate or middle schools, but also with our community. I know we've done a ton of community outreach. We've given presentations at the Springfield Science Museum for different astronomy outreach events. I have one in mind that you might remember. Every club member who wanted to participate, they made their own slide deck, and we all kind of mashed them together, and we all went throughout like our experiences as young astronomers, and we presented for about an hour to different community members. And I think that's something that I'll always remember, just all talking about how we got into space and astronomy, whether that's me when I got into it really young or someone else who just joined the club and who just bought their first telescope and is still learning. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, there's just such a wide range. You know, there's a vast gap in experience between me and Kaitlynn, even, and it really anyone can get into astronomy. You don't even need a telescope. I mean, you can just walk outside, do some, blind eye stargazing or naked eye stargazing. You really don't need a lot, and it's just a hobby that anyone could get into. And one of my favorite things about giving those presentations was after the presentation was over and we got to use their rooftop observatory. They have this massive telescope, and I've only looked through it twice, but it's stunning.
Yeah, it's based at the Springfield Science Museum, and it's research grade on their rooftop observatory. And members of the Springfield Stars Club made it. They hand ground the mirror. I don't know the exact specifics of it, but at the first Friday of every month from September to, I believe, May, so during the school year, the museum hosts an event called Stars Over Springfield, where members of the Springfield Stars Club help out, and they volunteer their time. And it's a great event for beginners. I think it's maybe $5 to get in. And you get a planetarium show, an astronomy presentation about a subject or topic, and you even get to visit their rooftop observatory. So it's a great opportunity that I highly recommend attending. What else have we done with the club? I know that we do a lot of community outreach. We've set up our telescopes at the entrance of Walmart, and as people walk in, they stop by and take a peek through our telescopes and look at the moon. And we did this a few years ago, and I still remember this one kid coming up to me and going, "This is the first time I've ever looked at the moon. This is amazing." Well, look through a telescope.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's looked up before. But I think it's just great to introduce people to space and astronomy for the first time, because that's just their moment where their life can change and they can really get into it. I know, remember that solar observing event that we did on the green?
Oh, on the
of
green.
Westfield?
Yes. Okay. We had to borrow the telescope from Aruna Hill, right? For that one?
Yes.
That was...
It's the Aruna Hill Nature and Science Center based in Cummington, Mass. You can find them on Facebook. And they own several telescopes. And one is a Coronado 90 millimeter solar telescope. And has a built-in filter, a hydrogen
Built-in
alpha
solar
filter. And you can look at the sun not just safely, but in detail. It was just a fun event.
No, it's absolutely breathtaking, and it was amazing learning about all the different features of the sun, like the sunspots, the solar prominences. They're absolutely stunning, and it's something that everyone should be able to see once in their life, I think.
Yeah, and I think about the great thing about our club is that during our meetings, we don't just like repetitively repeat facts to memorize them about the constellations or the sun. This is how we learn everything. We go out to observing events, and as we're showing someone sunspots or solar prominences, we're learning about them too. And I think it's great that we share it. But I think we kind of covered almost every event that we've done.
Oh, there is... No, I think we covered them all pretty well.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be more this year, and I look forward to it.
Oh, yes, definitely.
But thank you again, Andy, for coming on for this episode. Before we close out today, I want to talk about an upcoming event in just about 2 weeks here. The annual Stellophane Convention that happens up in Springfield, Vermont, will be beginning on the... Hold on, let me pull up the date. I apologize. On Thursday, the 24th, all the way to Sunday, the 27th of this month, July. And this convention is held, again, up in Springfield, Vermont. You can find them on their website, stellophane.com. And it's an entire event geared around the love of space, astronomy, and telescope making. I was reached out to by Stellophane organizers, and I will be giving a presentation titled The Panel with the Next Generation of Astronomers. So I'll be doing something like this, talking with a group of astronomy enthusiasts about our experiences in astronomy and our hopes for the future. Not only for our futures, but for the future of astronomy and the hobby in general. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that. I'm hoping I can bring Andy up there along with some other members of the high school club. Maybe Metal. I know that there's one person who's going to be attending. But on top of that panel that I'll be in, I'll also be leading solar system walks. I'll be leading 2 of them. And again, these are walkable scale models of the solar system. So they're fun. I do it every year. We have a lot of kids attend. So just like the Girl Scouts, we'll be giving descriptions of the planets and little fun facts. Just like the moon is not made of cheese.
Hard to believe.
I know. Came to me as a surprise as a kid. But if you can't attend Stellophane, I hopefully will be getting some video recordings of these different presentations and my walk through the solar system that I'll be posting on my channel. So stay tuned for that. But with that, I'd like to thank Andy again for coming on today, and thank you all for watching. Clear skies, keep looking up, and I hope you have a good day.